I'm Plami, and in this episode of Plami's Thoughts On, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the 8th episode of the 2nd season of The Walking Dead World Beyond. And guys, this might have been the best episode of this show, period. It's not necessarily my personal favorite. That one would probably be episode 3 of this season, which was Percy and Elton focused episode. I just like those two characters together and it was a really fun episode. But this might genuinely be the objectively best episode of the show so far, because there was so much excitement and tension and satisfaction that the good guys finally have a plan and are fighting the CRM in a way. It was so flipping entertaining and I loved it. I loved almost everything about it. It turns out that my prediction that Brody was the one who told the CRM about Will and about, I think Indira's son's name is Dev, thus causing Dev's death was Brody, but actually no, he did not rat them out, at least not at the time. He ended up ratting them out in this episode, which is why it was so satisfying to see him killed. Although I still kind of choose to think of it as headcanon that he told the CRM about Dev and Will, which is why the CRM ended up killing Dev. Because it just makes sense, because that guy was shady right off the bat that we first saw him, and I'm glad he died. And it was Huck who murdered him as well. That was so fucking satisfying. Somehow, though, that didn't reveal her as a spy. Why? I don't know. I feel like throughout the whole episode, I mean, I feel like it's very blatant how throughout the whole episode, Jadis is kind of testing Huck constantly. Like, even when towards the end of the episode where she is talking to, either it was Indira or it was Leo and co, she was talking to them and threatening them, and she was constantly looking at Huck to see whether she's gonna have a reaction in her face, I feel like. So she was testing her to find out whether she's being a spy or not. Because she herself said that maybe she has been Huck for way too long, that that's who she has become, you know? And yeah, it truly ended up being the case. That Huck is Huck, and she's not Jennifer, the CRM soldier, anymore. Yeah, this episode was all around satisfying. I loved in the beginning the reaction about Dev's death, who, like, we didn't really get to know him much, but it still hurt me that he died. It was impactful the way he died, and I thought that this episode we might have actually lost Elton and Asha as well, because the moment where they were held at gunpoint by the CRM was very prime for death. Like, usually, it's like typical Walking Dead moment where you think the characters are gonna die, but they're actually not gonna die. Or where you think they're gonna be surviving, but they actually end up dying. It felt very much similar in tone to, like, for example, when Denise on the main show ended up dying. That's the kind of feeling that I got from it, and it was a beautiful moment, and in a way I wouldn't have minded if they ended up dying in that moment, because that would definitely have made me angry at the CRM and everything, but I still think it ended up going in a cool direction, because I was so flipping happy in that, how in that moment Will ended up saving them, and so did Dennis and Silas, who showed up out of nowhere, and we had a pretty, I mean, I don't know whether to say good or bad shootout, because it definitely was a satisfying shootout between the good guys in the CRM, but it went a little bit too long, in a way, a little bit. Still, overall, it was very satisfying to see these characters work together and fight the CRM, and it was so flippin' satisfying, especially seeing Dennis show up and help everybody. So that was really fucking cool. On the other side of things, we had Leo and Cole plan their escape from the CRM, and even talking to the scientist who decided to live with them as well. And I love how for the whole episode we didn't exactly know what the plan was for that they had decided on, how they were gonna get out, what they were trying to do. And I love how we actually got to see the plan in motion instead of having it be exposition to us beforehand and us knowing everything, because it was so satisfying to see the good guys have the upper hand over the CRM, because usually it's the other way. So it was so satisfying when it turned out that Hope was manipulating Mason into taking him, capturing him and using him as leverage to get away from the facility without being followed. Although why didn't they take him with them? I mean, I guess in a way it makes sense, because maybe now that they've left him behind, there's a slightly bigger possibility that the CRM is not going to go after them, although they probably will. Come on, it's the CRM we're talking about. But it was probably safer taking him with them. And I know I'm kind of talking about episode 9 as well, so I guess I'm gonna just stop talking about that. But it was just overall very satisfying to see them enact their plan and have prepared for everything. And it turned out that what the CRM, like, the CRM did exactly what Leo and Cole wanted them to do, aka turn on the lockdown security feature, thus giving them more time to escape through the tunnels. Like, that was really fun to see, and it was just fun in general to see the good guys have the upper hand over the CRM. And yeah, I don't think I'm really forgetting anything major, anything else major for this episode, because I am trying not to do these recap reviews, but more so just do reviews of the best moments of the episodes that I really enjoyed. So yeah, we also had the reveal by Indira to everybody else that about her sickness, and how she said how she had allowed the CRM control of her life for way too long, and it's finally time to be done with that. And it was cool to see them plan on running away. I'm still curious how the show is going to end, like how is episode 10 gonna end? Is that the ending gonna play in some way into maybe that group that we saw with Michonne in episode 13 of season 10? Who knows? Because the current plan by the group is to go to Portland and warn them. And they also haven't actually destroyed the thing the CRM used to kill the people in Omaha, because somehow the CRM managed to move it from the place that it was put into. And from what I understood from next episode, it's kind of spoiler, but it's not really anything big. They've moved it to Dennis's place? Why? I don't understand, but I guess we're gonna learn more about that in episode 10. But yeah, overall this was a really good episode. It was the best. It was kind of the culmination of the tenseness with the fight against the CRM and everything. It was really, really hype AF. I really, really enjoyed it. It genuinely felt kind of like a season finale. And it's very similar in how last season, the second half was so much better. It's just like this show really takes its time with the first half of the season, and the second half is just like kind of pay off. I feel like maybe the show would have been better if they cut it down to maybe 6 to 8 episodes. I don't really think it needed 8 episodes. I mean 10 episodes, because as much as I love episode 3 of this second season, it very much was a filler episode. It introduced us to certain characters, but it didn't need to have as much time as it did. But yeah, in terms of a rating for this episode, I think I'm going to give this one honestly a 9.6 out of 10. It was a really fun and entertaining and hype episode. I really, really loved it. The only thing that bothered me about it is, as I said, the gunfight kind of went a little too long and started to lose its excitement, but overall it finished off great, so I'm satisfied with that. Although it was kind of lame how Dennis got shot. And I really hope he doesn't die, because he's been a surprisingly entertaining character for me, but yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think about this episode? Comment down below and let's have a discussion about it. And as usual, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 3 patrons on Patreon: Omari Bridgman, Deadpool, and Lemonade. Thank you guys for supporting me, it really means a lot, thank you very much. I'm really happy that there's anybody who has enjoyed my content enough to decide to support me through my Patreon. It just truly means a lot to me that you guys are doing this, and I hope you stay over there for a long time. And now, before we end this video, I just want to talk about something to you guys very quickly, which some of you may or may have not noticed before or know about me, that being the fact that I am trans. And yes, this may come as shocking to some of you because I don't really flaunt it that much on my channel, or at least I feel like I don't. Outside of like my K-pop reactions, which is where I feel like the most comfortable being myself like this. And yeah, I am in fact trans. I'm not necessarily full-on male to female, but I heavily want to transition to being pretty female. I do consider myself more non-binary though, or maybe gender fluid would be the best descriptor as well, because I do have occasional moments where I feel fine being like just a normal guy, but most of the time, like right now, I do feel very dysphoric. And that's why I'm asking you guys for any help that you can give me, because my situation right now, I don't really see any way outside of you guys' help. Because, and this is gonna be kept short and concise, I live with my parents. They're never going to accept me as a trans person. They just never will. And as a matter of fact, back when I started the YouTube channel, I was actually kind of slightly starting my transition back then, with like starting to grow out my hair. I even got to DIY HRT, but because my parents started noticing certain things, like my behavior had changed a lot and my clothes had changed a lot, I kind of had to stop doing that because they were constantly nagging me about cutting my hair and just started to kind of be threatening in a certain way, and felt like they were ashamed of me and everything, and that just kind of stress just tired me out to the point where I just gave up. But as dysphoria goes, it just doesn't go away, you know. I still feel like this, and in fact it's somewhat been intensifying again recently, so I just wanted to share this with you guys. And again, I would really appreciate any amount of support you can give me in regards to this, because I just don't see any way out of this. Because even if I moved out of my parents' house and got myself a job and everything, that's just not gonna work for long-term planning, because once I transition, it's like I probably will not be able to get myself a job, because my country is very transphobic. Nobody gives a shit about LGBT people at all. So there's not even much I can do even in terms of transitioning here. So yeah, I don't know. I just would appreciate any amount of support you can give me, be it monetarily or in any way otherwise. And this is not about boosting my channel or anything, or guilt-tripping you with my sob story. I just wanted to get this off my chest and make my subscribers aware of the situation that I am in, and that I would appreciate anything that you guys can help me out with. It would mean literally everything. Like, for example, a friend that I made after starting this YouTube channel, my good friend Yuri, has been helping me out a lot. And I genuinely might have not been here if it wasn't for him showing up and befriending me. So yeah, this just went a little bit longer than I intended, but I would just really appreciate anything you can support me with. That's kind of ultimately what I'm trying to say. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the description of my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon where you can pledge your support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!